All right, we are live, Monday Night Live. KBF, Fish Ops, Knucklehead, CATCH22, whatever you want to call it on a Monday night. Today, April 22nd. Of course, we're going live because it's the 22nd. Mr. Hoover is in the background. When I get a thumbs up, I will bring him in. He is finishing up a little bit of drawing some winners and so forth and so on. But how's everybody doing tonight? For whatever reason, StreamYard doesn't let us stream to Facebook anymore. So I guess you can do it to personal pages, but not the groups like we've been doing in the past. So we are live on the Fisherman Gramps YouTube channel. And of course, I stuck a link in every place that I could think of. And Mr. Hoover is good to go, giving me the thumbs up, middle finger, whatever he's got going on. What's up, brother? What's up, brother?
Man, I am good. I had an unfreaking believable weekend without it having to do with catching fish. Got a message from Jason Austin, who is the kind of the national chapter coordinator director for Heroes on the Water. A longtime friend of mine, the guy that actually got me into Heroes on the Water, back with an old regime, and then they kind of went off the rails for a little while, and then I wasn't really having much to do with them. He called me up and was like, dude, new leadership team, new breath of fresh air. I know you're trying to do some stuff with Mission 22, but if you're ever willing to work with Hal again, let me know. And having amazing results with that. The new leadership team's amazing. There's a new energy in the chapters out there. So I get a call, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. Hey man, you got an extra kayak? I was like, yes, I do. Got a chapter from Virginia that's coming into town, the Tidewater chapter, and would be, wondering if you could, loan one of them a kayak. And I was like, how is a chapter from Tidewater coming to my backyard and they're not letting a brother know, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he does a text intro. I get on the phones with these guys, bunch of good dudes, mostly Army, one Air Force guy, a civilian, a brother of one of the guys, and then one Navy guy, right? So of course, me and the Navy guy are the only, we're the minority. But they rented a house on Gunnersville, went over there, fished with those guys, tried to take them out to do the night toad thing. They'd all been on the road all day. I'm used to going out there and grinding all night long for that one monster bite. By about 10:30, they were all turning into pumpkins. And I could just tell that they weren't feeling it. So we headed back and got off the water, ended up BSing in the parking lot. I went over to the house the next day. We met up. We talked Heroes on the Water stuff. We talked what we're working on with CATCH22, what we're doing with Fish Ops and the goal. And, I was just like, man, what I've been trying to do with the concept of fish camp down the road, you guys are already doing. But let's take what you're doing now. And let me explain that. They had a belt that they had made that's like a tidal belt. And so everybody that's on the road trip jumps in on the belt thing. And the person that catches the biggest fish takes the belt until they have another get together. And then they have like a small fish award. They just got some really cool stuff. And I was like, man, how cool would it be if we coordinated this to where it was like you and your 8 guys from your chapter plus 8 guys from another chapter plus, and we just broke up into 4-man teams, kind of like what, some of the stuff that you and I've been talking about on the side. Yep. And we just started having these fun fish camps. And for those of you that don't know, fish camp is a pie in the sky goal of CATCH22 and of Fish Ops, to where the CAMP is an acronym. It stands for the Camaraderie and Mentoring Program. And so, man, I can tell you, meeting up with a group of guys, another group of guys that's fired up, that's got their own thing going on. They're light years ahead of us here in North Alabama. They're hosting 4 or 5 events with 50 plus people a year. They've got fundraisers going. They've got a wrapped trailer that they tow their stuff in. They've been working with landowners to get access to private ponds so that the fishing experience is through the roof. And, I've got the brand connection component. They've got the grassroots. And then what we started talking about is like writing SOPs, writing templates. And so that we don't get all this energy and then a few guys leave and it all falls apart, so that it, you could hand it to a monkey and they could, do it. And then the idea behind, dude, literally so many ideas came out of that thing. I left there so jacked up. We all went to dinner together and was laughing. We were pulling pranks on each other. And to me, and several of the guys in the group even kind of threw it out there, like, this is what we all miss from the military, not the military itself, but like the brotherhood, the camaraderie, and that kind of stuff. And I feel like if we pivot and we take the knowledge that we've acquired at KBF over the years of running tournaments and use that to create, organized, fun competitions where there still is a competition component to it. So let's be real. All of us participated in field days and different things in the military. And when you add a competitive component to it, it makes everybody kind of bring their bar up, but you still got to have fun with it. Right. And you still got to have some stuff. And what I like about it too, is that you get a bunch of former military people together, and they did have one active duty guy with them, which is cool. And, we're telling him, like, look, dude, this right here is what you'll miss. You won't miss the missions, some of the other BS. You'll miss this. And the idea is that if we can do that kind of stuff, and you can get in a room or get around a campfire or get at a campsite, and you can start doing things like that, where you ain't got to worry about being politically correct, where you can jab each other and do the stuff that we all do that makes being in the military, fun, then we can basically do that. And then and I'm going to challenge folks tonight for the each one reach one thing, but the idea behind that is that each one of us, if we can reach one more person to bring into that fold, we create a monster brotherhood. And then there's a lot of talk about cross promotion between other organizations like Folds of Honor and Fallen Outdoors and all that kind of stuff. And, back in the early days of HOW, there was this very protective posture of, like, they're spending money developing logos and developing branding and all these other things. So they don't want other people taken away from it. And that's all gone, man. It's really all about partnering with Carry the Load, partner with Wounded Warriors, partner with these other organizations, so that together and collectively, the whole goal is to help veterans and to help homeland heroes. Who gets credit for it? Nobody gives a flying flip about. Nope. And so it's awesome to see another chapter like that. And if we can all start to kind of get groups together to break bread, to stop doing everything virtually, you can rub off on each other. I left that get together fired up. And so how awesome would it be if we could get 4 or 5 chapters to bring 2 or 3 teams, and we could have a little powwow and everybody kind of goes home fired up. And I think initially we'll do it like making teams out of the chapter folk, but how badass would it be if down the road, it was a 4-person team, 3 is from the chapter, but 1 person has to be, a veteran that you find, that you invite to come fish. And then it just really starts to snowball. So I'm full of energy. I got to shelf that tonight after the live stream, because I got to get the smallmouth championship results put out and finalized. I got to get a questionnaire out to ask people about the championship format that I've put forward. So if you fished in the smallmouth series, you're qualified for the championship. And if you're that makes you a stakeholder. So I'm going to send out a questionnaire either later tonight or first thing in the morning. Get that questionnaire back to me as soon as possible, so I can finalize the eligible waters, the parameters, and then have our first smallmouth championship. And then from there, we can build on how we do it moving forward. Same thing with the River Series, but with the exception of, with the River Series, I'm going to be asking the question, do people really want this? Because there's 51 people signed up. The smallmouth series kind of tapered as well. But irregardless of how many people participated in it, I'm committed to doing the smallmouth series because I love it myself. I also love river fishing, but I think that there is a river component to the smallmouth series. So maybe I was being too idealistic trying to break it up into 2. And the River Series gets the most questions, the most people on the phone, the most like, I don't understand. And so it's the lowest number of participation with the most amount of labor. So it might just be the low hanging fruit that gets cut after this event coming up in the summer, but we'll see. I'm wide open to investing in things that make sense, that people are enjoying. But some of the feedback that I got from folks is that, man, all the stuff that KBF is offering is overwhelming. So we're working on an org chart that shows how it all works. We're working on simplifying and cleaning up the descriptions. And then Austin and I are going to shoot some videos over the next 3 or 4 days that are consolidated, like series explanations, little things like how to use location services on your, like the commonly made mistakes. We're going to cover those in a video, and then we're going to put the little chapters in the video so it makes it easy to go to the video and find the thing that you're looking for instead of having to watch the whole thing. And I'm not going to ramble. I'm going to make them as clear and concise as I possibly can. And then we're going to double down on doing what we're doing better instead of trying to do new things. That's why I held off on launching the 5x5 April 1st. That's why I held off on, reintroducing the high school series this year. That's why I held off on a number of things that we were working on so that we can double down on refining what we are doing before we do anything that we're not, if that makes sense. And then, yeah, man. So, now tonight we're going to pick 5 winners for $100 American Legacy gift certificate shopping spree. Basically, it's a card that I buy and have emailed to you. You and I actually talked about this earlier in the week. I've been doing 1,000, so I had to kind of stop for a second and go, hold on, Chad. It's 25, 25.
Yep.
I've got the unlimited challenge. Make sure I come back to that and make sure I kind of map out, what the year's going to look like before we finish tonight's call so that we can refer people to this. But I looked at it and I was like, man, if I keep going at 1,000 a month, that's $12,000. And just so you guys know, I'm not getting any kind of discount on that. Like, I'm buying that as a way to give a reward so that you're getting back tangible dollars that you can go spend on fishing stuff. So that's what it is. Who ain't going to spend $100 on fishing stuff, right?
Exactly.
So we're going to draw 5 winners tonight. I'm going to also send an email out. I am going to plead with you knuckleheads to go join KBF if you haven't done so, even though it's not a requirement, because it makes it so much easier for me to contact you if you're a winner, because some of y'all are lazy and don't fill out the questions when you register. And I didn't make them mandatory because I didn't want to sit there and have people have to fight with it. But if you register and the only thing that I've got is your name, makes it very hard for me to contact you and to follow up with you to make sure that you got your prize. Plus, there's a lot of overhead in doing this. And the more that we can spread the cost out over, becoming a KBF member, and you join KBF, you get $240 in gift certificates back immediately. If you join as an ambassador for $25, you're immediately getting a $25 American Legacy gift certificate, a $10 Yak Attack, a $10 Rogue, a $10 Catch, plus the $25 Fish USA gift certificate. I mean, you're getting back immediately 5X. And then American Legacy gives us quarterly gift certificates for $25. So there's $75 left for the rest of the year. It really is a no-brainer. And I almost made it mandatory this year, but I still want to leave it open for that person that wants to come in and try it out. But consider joining, so that way it helps us offset the cost, and it makes it easier for me to contact y'all when you do win something. One of our winners tonight, all I got is a name because he didn't fill out all the registration stuff. So when I send the email out, I hope he gets the message and contacts me so that I can make sure that I get the prize to the right person.
Yeah. And Brian, if you have questions about your Legacy gift card, call American Legacy, ask to talk to Brian or to talk to Graham. They will take care of you.
No, I actually just emailed it out.
Oh.
So
okay.
You don't need to reach out to anybody. It is automatically emailed to you. If you join in Q2, it'll be in the welcome email that you received. But I already emailed it, and I already sent it out as a message through Fishing Chaos. And the title of it is, hold on a second, I will tell you right now. The title of it, I got to go. I'm in CATCH22. I got to go back to the main page. Hold on a second here. You can search Fishing Chaos in your email. You can search American Legacy Fishing Company. But I'm going to tell you the title of it, which will make it even easier to search. It says American Legacy second quarter gift card. And it was sent out as both a in-app message in Fishing Chaos, and it was sent as an email. So it's been sent out twice. So that code has been both in-app message to you. And the way that you get that is if you go up here to this little blue line, or the little 3 lines, you'll see a little blue dot. You click on that and you scroll down here to messages. and you click on your inbox, and there will be a either chat or inbox. There'll be a little message there that has the gift card code in it or whatever the specific message is, and it's right there. And it also goes to the email that you use to register. So that's there in both places. The one thing I do have to correct myself on is it is not a gift card, even though that's what we call it. It is a discount code. So when you go to use the code, don't put it in the gift card box, put it in the discount code box. And because in the first quarter, like almost all the orders were like right around $25, they can't sustain that if all you guys are ordering $27.85, $29.99 and things like that. So this month, the quarterly gift card is $25 on a minimum of $50. So it's basically 50% off, but you still get $25 off. You just got to make sure you got $50 worth of product before you check out, before that code will be valid. Otherwise it's not sustainable, and they're still not going to make money on that, but it's going to get them closer to break even, because I firmly believe that we can keep ratcheting this thing up, and we can ultimately start getting them donating gift cards, and we can do more. So instead of having to back off of the 1,000 per month to 500 until we kind of see where we're at. So anyway, I really love the fact that we have a tackle shop or a tackle store that we're working with, so that when we buy those gift cards, you guys are winning product that you can go purchase stuff you're going to use with, and the really cool thing about American Legacy, actually Fish USA and American Legacy are both amazing. One of the things that I love about American Legacy is the trade-in program, the used gear program, and that Legend Elite program that they have. If you sign up for any of those things, it's unbelievable how much you save, what you have access to. And I actually went in there, and I'm a hard sell on internet purchases, but I was in there looking for something the other day, because you remember the trade-in that I did with you?
Yep.
So I ended up with my trade-in credit, and I was in there shopping, and I came across a freaking used G Loomis rod, and I was like, man, I couldn't get it priced that good even when I was sponsored by Shimano and G Loomis. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to get it. And then I was maybe like 5 minutes later, I was like, and then I went and looked at it again, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think I'll ever be able to beat that deal. And I really want that rod. And it was one that G Loomis had discontinued. So I bought it, and it's on its way right now. So,
and the funny thing is, guys, too, and this is what you'll learn. I'm one of the people that work with American Legacy. So when you see me doing rod and reel reviews and whatnot, I may go take and make a video or two about it, go out and fish with it a few times, and then turn it back in like a library book and check something else out. So people who see me on Instagram, oh, Gramps just got a new Metanium DC. Oh, Gramps just got the new SLXA. Gramps checked it out of the library to do some reviews on it. Generally, at some point,
you mentioned it, I got invited into that program as well. And I was talking to Graham, and I said, look, I'm kind of set in my ways. I've been using some yak rods. I'm a Shimano guy. I'm a G Loomis for very specific things. What is it that American Legacy has that you would love me to review that I can compare to some of the stuff that I use? Keep in mind, I'm kind of a rod snob. So, I'm not looking for the $49, whatever. And he was like, how do you feel about St. Croix? I said, man, I used to use quite a bit of St. Croix. I used St. Croix Legend Elite fly rods for a long time. Wow, what do you have in mind? He's like, have you seen the new Physics? And I was like, no. Is that a Physics? Okay, so anyway, so he's like, go pick out a couple of Physics. So I go pick out a couple of Physics. They're getting shipped with my order for my trade-in, and then I'm going to review them, put them up against other products, let you guys know what I think about them, and then I'm going to ship them back and trade, get 2 more rods shipped and play the game to where I can pretty much review the entire lineup, compare them to known other rods in that same price range for features, for, sensitivity, durability, accuracy of labeling. I think that one of the things that I'm going to bring to the table that I haven't done this year is comparing reels to each other, making people understand what terminology is, demystifying some of the marketing hype and bullshit that's out there, that's like over, used in the industry, putting the word pro or X on something and acting like it's like the second coming. But I'm also very versed and experienced.
Hold on, I gotta correct this. This statement is not true, because I went into an in-depth conversation with the actual designer of this handle and physics series, and am literally setting up a date to have him on Gramps Live to discuss this new rod series. They look similar.
But let's talk about this, because this is the purpose of this trade and review thing.
Yep.
If Mike thinks it's the same handle, that's a perception issue.
It
so
is.
These are the reasons we're doing these things. And so I don't know what he means by ridiculous handle that the Mojo Bass has, because I'll be honest with you, when the Mojo Bass came out, I owned a kayak shop, but we sold rods, and we were a St. Croix dealer at the time. And I got the Mojo Bass in thinking, sweet, they're doing a real, like a price point, you know, they're doing a rod that's specifically for bass. You know, St. Croix is a really big company. They haven't been a real dedicated bass company for a long time, or, you know, over the lifetime, because they're a really big Great Lakes and Midwest and panfish and, you know, and all that kind of, you know, muskie and all that kind of stuff. And they have probably more SKUs than damn near anybody out there. And I've always loved their
so the newer versions of the Mojo, the newer versions of the Mojo Bass have a newer that's the Trigon handle. But until you put one of these in your hand, you don't understand. I mean, you really, until you actually handle one of these, because I had the same perception when I saw them being launched. And then when I walked up and talked to Randy at the St. Croix booth at Red Crest and put them in my hands, we had a very, very interesting discussion. So I actually just picked up the Rip and Chatter, which everybody knows is the one I'm always going to grab from St. Croix, as well as a spinning rod, so I can test out both. And I'm going to tell you, you might like this handle a whole lot more than you think you would. It's
well, let me finish the thought I was saying. When I got the first order of Mojo Bass rods in, I picked them up, I threw a Corrado on them, and they felt out of balance. They felt heavy as hell, and the geometry of where the trigger was relative to where the reel set, I couldn't get comfortable with it between my ring finger and my pinky, like I always, you know, almost always do it. I definitely couldn't get it comfortable between here, because wearing or putting a reel trigger between these two fingers is like wearing flip-flops with the flip between the wrong toes. So it just was awkward to me. And then if I did use it where it was designed to do, it wore a blister on the back of my finger right here. And I just, you know, I even know Jesse Simpkins over at St. Croix, and I called him and said, hey, look, man, and a guy named Randy Hamilton, who's a longtime friend of mine, used to be a rep for G. Loomis when I owned when I was a partner in a fly shop in Virginia Beach. And he was the national sales manager for St. Croix at the time. And I was like, man, these reels just don't feel good on here. What reel was this thing designed for? Because it doesn't sit right with any of the 4 or 5 reels that I put on it. And they were like, I don't know. It was a universal reel seat that was designed to fit everything. And so it just might not fit your style of fishing. So I kind of wrote Mojo Bass off at that point. So I'm not sure if that's been 10 years ago. So I don't know if the Mojo Bass went through iterations since then, but it'd be interesting to Mike to comment again to say, to further define what he means by ridiculous. And I don't want to dominate this whole conversation about this, but this really is one of the things that we're going to do with the CATCH22 is to cut through the clutter of the bullshit marketing and sponsorship obligations and all that kind of stuff, and give the folks that are, you know, that we're hoping we attract a lot of new folks, a lot of folks that are, you know, new to intermediate to just getting into advanced fishing, and use this platform to educate folks. And we're going to try to do the same thing through the fish camp, you know, live get together. So I'd be interested in getting a little bit of clarification on what Mike said, so that I can be cognizant of it when I get these physics in, either later this week or early next week, to play that same game. But let's do this. Let's draw the winners right now. Let's then open the floor up for questions, and then that way I can get the message sent out to the winners. And yeah, man, we can roll on to next month. But I do want to challenge everybody that's either on here live or watching. We are way ahead of schedule for last year. We're at 404, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were before I went live. And that's amazing. We're 2/3 of where we got to last year in a full year, and we're not even into May yet. But if we want to do the most with this thing and me give back the most to you guys as well, let's double down. So I want to challenge each person in the Catch-22 challenge, each person individually, to find another person to sign up. If each one can reach one, we could double it. And how cool would it be if we doubled it in a week, and then we come back and start going back to $1,000, maybe $1,500 giveaway each month in the individual winners. And then I'll go ahead and cover the unlimited challenge right now so people understand, and then we'll draw the winners, and then we'll do the question and answer. So the unlimited challenge, I've got a lot of questions about. It's $50, and it's got its own prizes. So look at the description of the ticket, and it's got its own prizes: 500, 300, 200, and then I think 100. That's just up front. That's money that I put up regardless of how many people buy that ticket, and gift certificates to American Legacy Fishing. Okay. Then everybody that enters a 5-fish limit is entered into the drawing for the unlimited new canoe kayak giveaway. If you are a regular Catch-22 participant in any of the Black Bass State, the Any 22, the Any Fish, Mini Fish, or the Just for Fun, you're also entered into the Kayak Quarterly. What's confusing to some people is that this month it happens to be that there's a new canoe unlimited for both of those, the unlimited 10. So we're giving away the unlimited 10 for the unlimited challenge. You have to be in that. And we're giving away the unlimited as the kayak that we're giving away as part of each quarterly giveaway. So both of those will be lined up because I started the unlimited challenge for 90 days at the beginning of Q2. But here's how it works. If you're a regular Catch-22 competitor, you're automatically in the drawing for the normal unlimited. For every fish that you enter is an entry. And then for the more fish that you enter, so here's how we're doing it now. And Fishing Chaos actually come up with this because you saw how I was doing it before, downloading each leaderboard, putting in a spreadsheet, going to a randomizer. So Fish USA or Fishing Chaos has showed me how to do, you can download the entries report and it'll create a ticket number for each entry. And then you could take that format and you could put all of those ticket numbers into a randomizer and draw one. So technically, the more fish you enter, the better chance you have to win. And so for the unlimited challenge, that's how we're going to pick the winner of the unlimited. You have to have 5 entries. And then every entry, the more fish you enter, the better chance you have to win. And then the top 5 totals in individual fish numbers will win based on the totals. This is one of those challenges that you Northern people, that you Midwest people, that you Yankees have been asking me for. Man, I can't compete with Texas and California and Florida. Well, guess what? Now it's about number. It's not about size. And so you probably have a better chance.
Well, I think isn't Marty in the lead, and he's from like Nebraska, and he's got he's murdering.
He called me and asked me how it worked because he's like, so how does it work? And I was like, so here's how to think about it. Every entry into the New Canoe Unlimited Challenge is still under the Catch-22 umbrella. So every fish that you enter in the Unlimited Challenge is also an entry to win the normal kayak quarterly, but it's also an entry into winning the unlimited. So you got 2 chances to win an unlimited in the New Canoe Unlimited Challenge, and you got 1 chance at it in the standard Catch-22. Not that you don't have just as good a chance, especially if you're doing the mini fish. But like I was telling Marty, if you're in the mini fish, any fish, mini fish, and you're in the unlimited, all of your entries actually count twice. So if you enter 200 fish, that's technically 400 tickets. So, it's kind of like the old raffle ticket thing. The more raffle tickets you buy, the better chance you have to win. Well, we're not a raffle because it'll be an illegal lottery in some states. So every fish requires skill to catch. Because it requires skill to catch, it's not an illegal lottery. So therefore, it's legal to do what we're doing. So every entry increases your chance of winning. So the more fish you catch, the better chance you have to win. And again, so it's not a luck thing. It's about entry. It's about skill. So without
you can always challenge all of your friends too. Like Freedom Squad, we've got a personal least challenge going on right now. And I think Jeremy's got like a 6. And you try to get a 6-inch bass to hold still on a board, you can take its picture. You know what kind of challenge that thing is.
Yeah.
I think Sly's right behind him with like a 7, but yeah, I have to go catch some fish first. I will be on the water by Friday, though. I am wiring in the last of the things, and I am going fishing this weekend, finally.
All right, so I just organized all of the winners into photos in my album. So now that I can just kind of roll through them. Here's what's kind of crazy. The entries for some of these are not even bass. Like this person won with a freaking pike. So that's let me turn off my rotate screen thing. All right. So like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't even bass fish. This dude won with a pike. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's pretty damn cool. So I'll just go ahead and start going through this. I will do an email follow-up. When you contact me, please do not say, hey man, my buddy told me I won. Who are you? What did you win? Some people reached back out to me from 3 or 4 months ago. So American Legacy gift certificate winner, CATCH22 challenge, and your name. Put that in the subject line. That way, if it goes to spam, I can search for it. I will format it that way in the email that I sent. So if you're not so inclined to remember, just copy it, paste it into the subject line, and then change the part that's specific to you. That makes sense? So makes it easy for me if it's in the subject line. I literally got one last month that said, hey, I won. And then there was nothing else.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, what did you win? You know what I mean? And then it takes 4 or 5 different back and forths to get them taken care of. And so, all right. So without further ado, the winner of the first $100 American Legacy Fishing Company gift certificate is Mr. Stephen Galloway. So that's Stephen Galloway right yonder. All right. And the second winner of an American Legacy gift certificate for $100. And look, this is a 14 and not even quite a half-inch fish. So again, this ain't about how big a fish you can catch. It ain't about catching mondos or any of that other stuff. Every fish you enter is an entry for your chance to win. So
Dinks
the winner
deserve your love as well.
So winner for that, and he was currently like ranked 8th with this catch for whatever state he was in. That is Mr. Odell Ruiz. Odell Ruiz. He's got 34 fish, but that 114.5 entry lined up with the ticket number. That was the winning ticket number from the randomizer. So it's all, man, it's cool. It's just really cool how this thing works.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so Odell's the guy that's got a phone number and an email, but it doesn't tell me where he's from. So I can't say Odell from wherever. And then the person that doesn't have hardly anything, but he's got a purple kayak that is full of grass and has done a really good job of taking photos, is the third winner. And that is Mr. Jason Church. Jason Church with a purple New Canoe. I think that's a New Canoe Unlimited. Maybe that's a different cockpit right there. That might be a Vibe. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really recognize this kayak 100%. So Jason Church with the purple kayak, you also won. I got zero information on you, Jason. I can't even email you because I don't have the information in your profile. So you're going to have to email kayakbassfishing@gmail and put American Legacy Fishing Gift Certificate winner, or you're going to have to text me at 757-348-2232. All right. And then my next winner,
purple kayak.
My next winner, and this person won with also a 14.5. Again, just total random. But this person won with 26 total fish entered. Half of the drawing, I draw people with only 22 or more entries. And then the other, so 3 had to have 22, and 2 I just drew as, like I've said from the beginning, as long as you signed up. So this person was over 22, and that was Michael Sebastian Mera. So Michael Sebastian, either Mera or Murrah. That might be Murrah. Michael Sebastian Murrah with a little 14.5 inch. Little fat fish though.
Oh
Good,
yeah.
good form on the photo too.
Hey, I had this question come up.
I don't know what he's
earlier.
doing with this 4, 5, 6, 7 over here, but I'd be interested in finding out. That might be some kind of like little system he's got, but it's actually kind of cool.
Oh
And
yeah.
then last winner, drum roll, of this month's $100 American Legacy Fishing gift certificate. And then one thing that I am going to announce, that I am going to do mystery drawings this month, at least 2 of them, for a sponsor that has come on board with prize packs. So enter your fish, because the faster you enter them, the easier it makes it for us. And you don't want to sandbag to the end of the month and then miss out on the midway mystery drawings for some prize packages. And so the last winner with actually a pretty good fish. This fish was 20, ironically enough, and this was totally random. This fish is actually 22 inches. It might quite make 22 and a quarter up there, but a 22-inch donkey, and he's even got barbecue Pringles in his kayak, so he's out there living right while he's fishing. But the winner of the last gift certificate for $100 from American Legacy Fishing Company is Mr. Bart Foster. So Bart Foster is the winner of the 5th American Legacy Fishing gift certificate. Again, guys, I had to kind of slow my roll a little bit with the $1,000 a month, because if I did that, that'd be $12,000 by the end of the year, which is like 567 entries just to break even. And with the kayaks that I'm buying, I just needed to chill out a little bit. So we still want to be able to donate to 25% like we've committed to. We made $5,000 last year for Heroes on the Water. I'm doing $5,000 or more this year, hopefully, because I can't imagine we got to 400 and we're not going to get 200 more. And then we're not doing the big over-the-top grand prize this year, which then one person wins like a $15,000, $20,000 package. We're going to do a better job of spreading that out more across the community and across all those that participate. So,
hey, Bart Foster's in the chat. Gotta love that.
So that's awesome.
Congrats.
So those are the winners. I got a couple of other challenges coming up down the road. You know, JT, you mentioned something that's funny, because some of the other guys have brought this up. If you guys want to do like a challenge within the challenge and you want me to set it up, you can set it up to where it's like a Freedom Squad challenge, where you can be fishing against each other in there, have a leaderboard while simultaneously fishing in the Catch-22 challenge. So if that's something you guys are interested in doing, any of you guys, just shoot me a message, shoot me a text, and we can figure out how to facilitate that. But I think that'll be a fun way to create some little visual representations of smack talking within a challenge type thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's your 5 winners. Congratulations to all the winners. I'm hoping we could get back to 1,000 next month before we do the 2 New Canoe Unlimited giveaways the following month. But let's actually ask Mike M if he has a little bit of clarification on what he meant by what makes that handle ridiculous on the Mojo Bass.
He didn't like the, I guess he's handled it before, and he said that he didn't care for the form factor.
Well, I'm in the same boat. I didn't like the way it felt either, and I don't care how good the rod would have been. If I don't like the way it feels, I can't even fish with it. So
it's kind of like the thing with the pews. You know, some of them fit your hands, and others fit others' hands. So we completely understand that too. But I did have to pull up and celebrate the Big Bass leaderboard for Catch-22 so far this year with this
unreal
giant 26. I mean, jeez. I gotta throw the props out and celebrate this Mondo, because that thing is huge. Let me just go ahead and zoom on in here. Jesus.
It looks like a cartoon that it's so big. You know what I mean?
Man.
And dude's hands ain't small either. They ain't little. I mean,
brother's
got some Johnson bratwurst fingers, and it makes his hand look small on the fish. It's just crazy.
I mean, you know how we tell people, you know, you can cover the gill plate, but make sure you don't stretch your hands out 2 thumbs so it doesn't go past the back. He ain't even close.
He's in the no fish zone with room on both sides and his hands completely spread out. That's
you know that thing down with 2 hands. I mean, what a monster fish.
But go back and look at the leaderboard overall, though, and just kind of scroll down real quick, JT, on just the big bass leaderboard in general is just freaking ridiculous. It's
there's
ridiculous.
So many donks.
I mean, look at this, man. It's like there's 3 or 4 guys on here that have anybody else's fish of a lifetime, and they got like 10 of them, 12.
Oh, yeah.
Insanity. You know what I mean?
I mean, Dalton Albright's got just tank after tank after tank.
I think Robert Harris, Dalton, some of these guys are going to sell like a downloadable buy my waypoints thing at the end.
It's gonna be over on this segment brought to you by Fish Tips.
They'll be for sale. Their waypoints will be for sale on onlyfins.com here by the end of the year. Well, man, I agree with what Mike said. There's our winners, but let's do a little, let's put 5 minutes on the clock and do a little question and answer, and we'll still get out of here under 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going live with Darren Window Fishing tomorrow. I'm going live on a Canadian podcast that I'll be announcing on my social media first thing in the morning. And then I'm going to go live myself this coming Thursday for a walkthrough of the Smallmouth Championship, a walkthrough of where we're going with the River Championship, and a kind of overall captain's meeting for the Challenge Series for things that people are either regularly screwing up or questions that get asked all the time that we have to constantly clarify. And then I'm also going to be doing a video this week. I shot it last week. I didn't like the edit. We're going to reshoot it this week, but I'm going to do an updated version of the video I did a couple of years ago called How to Cheat in a Kayak Fishing Tournament. And I'm going to be bringing up a very specific thing that people keep asking me, why does KBF do it this way and other people do it that way? And we're going to be talking about pinching the tail and why there's so many things that can happen with pinching the tail that we don't allow it. Not going to be trying to crap on the people that do. I'm just going to be clarifying why we do what we do, what we're trying to eliminate, like with your arm covering the fish, bending the fish, using the same fish twice, covering up, identifiable characteristics and things like that. And so it's going to be a juicy video. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So be on the lookout.
Before we get to the questions, let's take a second because May 1st is coming quickly. And the biggest event of the KBF season, as far as virtual tournaments go, starts May 1st.
Yes.
Tell everybody for those who may not know yet, maybe they fished Knucklehead or they've been fishing CATCH22, talk about Mayhem.
So every event that we do now is a KBF National Championship qualifier. The KBF National Championship for next year is already up on Fishing Chaos. Lynn Yester is actually working on the qualifications list for this year. Last year, we got it out towards the end of the year. This year, we're putting it up no later than the first week of May. We've almost got it done for this year. She's going to finalize it with all the stuff from the April challenges, all the trails up to this point, basically every way that you can qualify. And we're going to have the qualified list up. The National Championship event is already up there. We're going to have a massive guarantee next year that we're going to talk about very soon. I'm just making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed on the contract so that I can do that. And then we're going to have an even bigger guarantee in 2026. And so all of the virtual events, all of the Knucklehead events, all of the state challenge series are all qualifiers. But what makes May special is that May is Mayhem. So for all of the other series, it's detailed. For the challenge series, it's 25% of each state or 2, whichever's greater. For the smallmouth series that we did, it was the top 10 each month. For the river series, it was the top 10 each month. But because we're having the championship in May, everybody that finishes in the top 50% in the smallmouth championship is going to be qualified for the national championship. Everybody that finishes in the top 50% for the state challenges will qualify. The trail event that we have in May on Sandy Cooper will be 50%. The knucklehead kickoff, every captain's month, May, is going to be double qualifications, so 50% of the field. So if there's 30 people that compete in Team Gramps, which, by the way, he's a long ways from right now because only like 3 people even like him, right? He's going to have to put a pork chop around his neck to get the dog to play with him. But anyway.
Everybody loves Freedom Squad. I can't help it.
Anyway, if it's 10, 5 people are qualifying for the national championship. If it's 50, 25 will qualify. So I'm not saying it's the easiest because the competition does go up, but the highest percentage.
Let me back up, because the last 2 times I've qualified for the national championship in the state full of freaking hammers, the only way I could qualify was to be in that top 50% in May. So if I don't focus and try hard in any other real month, Mayhem is how I have qualified for the last 2 national championships. And it's worked because there may be 10 or 15 people every month, but when Mayhem comes around, everybody's in there. So you really got to you got to get after it too. So yeah, use the opportunity for Mayhem to go sign up for your state challenge series, for at least 2 of the Knucklehead series. Put yourself in the best position to qualify for that KBF NC, because you talk about the KBF family reunion event that you don't want to miss. The KBF National Championship is the one. Don't have to take my word for it. Sly Fox, Cairo, Liz was there. Bobby, you can ask. The Fishing Fam knows that you get to. I mean, it's a pretty cool event. And it's going to be even crazier.
This year was my first year back. We took off the time of the fall to get it back in the spring. Next year it's going to be April 7th, 8th, and 9th. So that way we're deconflicted with the Bass Nation Kayak Series Championship. We're deconflicted with the Red Crest that's going to actually be here in Huntsville next year. And we basically have got a great week. That week, almost every year, is when the bass just light on fire. It's basically 3 days after it was this year. It's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah. And there'll be no trail event following it like it was this year. But what we are going to do is we're going to do it during the week like we always do. So that way you're not competing with the batshit crazy crowds. You're not competing with the inflated lodging or harder chance to get lodging and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And we're going to make that Saturday a team shootout for, a big payout. So you don't have to be in the national championship to fish in that, but you can be in the national championship and fish in that. So it's going to be like a double whammy. You should get qualified for the national championship, so you're there fishing in the national championship, and then build yourself a team and fish in the team fish camp weekend, the weekend that follows that. And so it's going to be a good time. Mayhem, though, thank you for reminding me. Hank just wrote up a great write-up and sent it out both on the KBF page as a blog post and on the actual website and on the KBF Facebook page. And so there's a great write-up about that's out there. I'm going to share it on my story and to the group tomorrow. And then we're going to talk about that again coming up. I can't help the wind. Yeah, I can build a big wall around the lake, but that'll be a few years. But we're also going to be talking about this upcoming Thursday when we do the virtual captains meeting for the way forward for the rest of the year, and kind of some updates on where we're going with KBF and fish ops.
Yep.
So let's do like a quick little question and answer session, and then I got to get this survey done, and then I'm going to go watch some grown men hit a little ball around with a big piece of lumber.
I've been sitting here looking up, watching. I'm watching the same thing that I know Austin's watching right now.
Exactly, and I'm going to meet him to watch it. So anyway.
All right, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments real fast. Any questions? I did have somebody ask a question while we're waiting for see if anything pops up. Explain on Fishing Chaos, when you see the little green dots and the gold dots and the red dots, tell people where those are. How come some people have them and some people don't?
So if you have the green dots, the red, the gold, those are indicative of what your membership level is with KBF. The R, though, the red R means you're a rookie. That means you're a Rogue Gear rookie. But they only show up if you have a subscription through Fishing Chaos, whether that's the Wrangler or whatever the different tiers are, you have to have one of the subscriptions. And the annual one is by far the best because it saves you a full month. You basically you pay for 11 months and get the 12th month for free, but you don't pay the fees per month per event. So for example, like a month like May, where you're going to be fishing in 4 or 5 different events simultaneously, you pay $3.99 for the month. Or if you do the Wrangler membership, which is the annual membership, I think it's called the Wrangler, or the Fish Whisperer, or whatever it's called, whatever the best one is, then you basically pay the $43 for the whole year instead of $5 per event. And the really cool thing about Fishing Chaos is the judges and the tournament directors don't have to deal with the invoicing or any of that. The cost is just passed along to the competitors. But if you're not a subscriber, you're paying those fees per event that we're not assessing, and it's not coming to us, but it's going directly to Fishing Chaos. So if you do the highest level subscription, you get, like $40 in gift certificates right off the bat. So it's pretty close to break even, and you don't pay any fees per event. It's basically unlimited.
Yeah, and I've been doing that since I've started.
And you get the badging. It's just like on Tourney X where you do like pro, and you get like the logo, and you get the icon, and you get the red X, and some of the additional like stat stuff by paying for that pro subscription. The difference is on Fishing Chaos, if you pay for the top subscription, now you don't pay $5 per month for the rest of the year for any event. You don't pay, or per event, you pay. That's it. And then the tournament series doesn't have anything to do with that. That's actually taken out, and passed to the consumer, which is a really nice thing when you don't have to deal with paying all those invoices at the end of each month.
And honestly, that makes it really cool because there's a lot of different tournaments on Fishing Chaos. The Guggen Squad's doing a big thing. Lose and Strike King are doing a big thing. There are all kinds of, other fun Jigs and Bigs does things too. So, Bass Ackwards wants to know what's your PB. So by weight, and then what's your catch PB, since I'm trying to promote what's your catch.
So my two personal best are both 14 pounds, 2 ounces. One was 26 and like 3/4 inches. The other one was a little over 28 inches, but it was also on a hog trough. And I'll be honest with you, that fish was so big that it bowed the shit out of the hog trough. So learning some of the stuff that we learned later, that fish probably wasn't as long as I thought it was. Cause when you bow the measuring board, the fish's tail goes up the board, So I would guess, knowing what I know now and going back, that fish was probably high 26s like the other one, or low 27 inches. But I actually caught both of them, ironically enough, where we're about to have our next trail event, which was on Sandy Cooper.
Cool.
I wrote about him in the book. I don't really run around thumping my chest because I was dating this girl in the Navy, and I had a bunch of pictures on my mirror like people used to do back in the day. See, before we had these things right here, they had these pictures that you would print out, and you actually had a picture in your hand. So I had all these pictures, and I had a big mirror over my dresser like everybody used to do back in the day. And, you would stick your pictures in between the mirror and the frame. And so I had these pictures around the top. So I had a picture of both of the fish. I
must have wiped my butt with that.
Well, anyway, when I broke up with this girl because I was on a deployment and she decided she liked one of my best friends better than me, she decided while I was on deployment to burn a bunch of my rodeo, hunting, and fishing pictures. So I don't actually have a picture of that fish anymore. So my personal best that I have on video, have a photo of, and have a picture of is a 13-pounder caught down at Mossy Oak Properties in Alabama. And then I've got 13 fish over 12 pounds and a buttload over 10. So
I still need to come see you for my birthday and get me something bigger than 8.
It's going to sound crazy, but I used to think if I brought a camera, it was a jinx. This is before I started doing TV and YouTube and all that other crazy stuff. I was like the most secretive person in the world. I've got days where I caught 3 or 4 10-pounders. I never even took a picture of them because if I took a camera, I felt like I was jinxing myself. I only got a cell phone because Austin was like, either 2 or 3 years old, and there was like an emergency. And then I didn't get there until I got home from fishing. And everybody was freaking out. That's why you need a freaking cell phone. And I was like, all right, finally.
All right, damn it.
Finally, they had a good reason to force me to get a cell phone. But I thought it was like an electronic leash, and I didn't want one. And I sure as hell didn't want to carry an actual camera out. And I don't know, fishing back then, and to a certain extent now, I'm doing it even more, is for me. You know, I don't believe if you don't post it on Instagram, it didn't happen, or any of that other stuff. And I think sometimes
if I catch a big one, everybody's going to know.
I think sometimes like God smiles on you though, for just going out and doing the experience for between you and him. You know what I mean?
Everybody has to have those days. If you're a YouTuber, whatever, where I don't even take a I mean, I have my phone with me, but I don't even put nothing. I just, some days are just
like, I'll tell one quick story. Last year, I was doing these night fishing trips, and I had done three guided trips in a row. And then I took out a friend, and on the guided trips we had smashed them. And then I took out a friend of mine, and we fished all night long and didn't catch a damn fish, like not a sniff. And I was like, man. So I had this like had to get even thing in the back.
Uh-oh.
For like, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave my cameras at home. I'm gonna take 2 rods. I'm just going to go out there and just fun fish. And I'm talking like right out of the gate, I caught like a 22-inch 6-pounder. And I was like, damn, wish I had my camera. This will really help my CATCH22 total cause. And then I was like, I probably wouldn't have caught it if I had a camera. I let it go, did my thing. I am not kidding you. Like, this is like 50 yards. I paddle up. I throw a tackle frog instead of, I've been throwing the ribbit. I throw a tackle frog. It lands on a mat. I get a little bit of a backlash, like just a one little looper. I pull that out, and I click the reel, and I'm reeling the slack up, and it goes, jerks the rod down. I only moved the tackle enough to move it on the pad, and this fish annihilated it. And it was like a 9-pounder. Oh. And I was like, holy crap. So I get that fish in the boat. It's like 23 and some change. And I'm going, of course I don't have a camera tonight. Of course I don't have, anything but my cell phone. And then I started feeling like, all right, I'm going to take pictures of these fish with my cell phone, even without the measuring board. And then I was like, nah, I probably just need to enjoy this. Yeah. I need it, bro. I put my phone back in my pocket. I cast like 3 more casts, 20-inch fish. Cast like 3 more casts after that, 20-inch fish. And then I went 5 casts for 5 casts, catching an 18 or bigger fish. I sat back in the kayak, and I literally said to myself, man, I wonder if this is like a God thing, and if I had brought a camera, would I have even caught a fish tonight? Yeah. And bro, strike me dead if I'm lying. I said it, and I'm sitting there like this, and I'm kind of looking down. I said it, and then I look up, and a shooting star goes across the whole sky. Was kind of like, yeah, bro. If you would have brought a camera, you wouldn't have caught smack, because this is your night, kind of a thing. Yep. And then I ended up paddling like 6 miles that night. And after that initial little burst where I caught like epic night for anybody ever, 9-pounder, 6-pounders, bunches of 20s, a couple in the mid-7 range. I'm like, I didn't catch another fish for like 5 hours. And I got eat up by mosquitoes. But it was just like one of those nights, man. And I really want to encourage more people, especially if you become like a content creator, you feel like you have to document everything. Just take some days that are just yours, just yours. And you don't have this monkey on your back, this gorilla breathing on you to make something into something. And it'll be crazy how much magic will happen when you do that. So yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining in tonight. Chad's going to send out a message to all the winners. Make sure you watch Window Fishing tomorrow. Well, Chad will be on tomorrow night. And then Chad again on later this week. Talk about KBF and all the good. Brother, good seeing you again.
Don't forget, each one of you knuckleheads, go try to reach one person, and we could double this thing. I could double the payouts, double the prizes, double the amount that we're going to give to saving the lives of veterans who need it. And so
Don't
thank you
just
guys
post it on Facebook or Instagram.
you
Message
guys in advance.
somebody, call somebody, shoot them a text.
Actually find somebody.
Reach
My name.
somebody.
You can post it too. You can do all that.
Yeah.
But don't rest until you've got one other person in the thing with you and compete with them. You know, challenge them to try to beat you. And if they do, you'll buy them dinner or something. Who knows? You know what I mean? Keep it within reason.
If you post up a 5-inch bass, stick it over on the Freedom Squad page.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about like Roost Chris. I'm talking about like Golden Corral. You know what I mean? Denny's.
There you go.
Or Waffle House. You know, something like that.
Yeah, something good.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Y'all have a great night. Thank you guys for the support. Love y'all. And I'll see you like 2 more times this week.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody. Get outside when you can and make some memories. One cast at a time.